Hello, it's Ashley and Gus and Ashley,
The
the
couple,
couplepreneurs.
it's the
I
couplepreneur
was like waiting.
show.
We don't have something written behind us. I was ready
I
to
failed in
duck
my duties. We've been
duck
really
to
busy.
say, "Oh, you can read this now," and then
We,
stick my big hair in front of it.
we've been really busy today, and so
Yeah,
I missed out on that.
that's okay. I'll forgive you.
So we get asked we get asked the same two questions all the time. We thought we'd address one of them. The first one we get asked is, "You guys work together? How can you work with your spouse?" And the second question we get asked is, "How do I start a business or become entrepreneurs with my spouse?" And today we're going to talk about the second. We're going to talk about how do you become an entrepreneur with your spouse. Ashley and I, we didn't start the business together.
Yeah,
I had one business that was in the event space.
I
I
had,
had more than one business that was in the
and
event
then
space.
I had my business was in the event space, and then it just happened that Gus sold his interest in his business, and then he was like, I've got like 5 irons in the fire, but I haven't quite figured out what I'm going to do next. And I was like, hi, I need help. Can you please, like, you keep telling me my email marketing stinks. You keep telling me that this and this, needs help. Help me for 6 months. That was 10 years
that was
ago.
nine years and 6 months ago.
Yeah.
That happened. Anyway,
Almost exactly.
But anyway,
I'm putting this here and hoping that it doesn't fall.
we thought we'd share some ideas with you tonight. My business journey was a little bit different, but came in, and the funny thing was once I got inside of Ashley's business, and not that she kept me out from beforehand.
Kept you out.
She kept me out.
No, I didn't keep
No,
you
but
out.
once I got inside your business, I discovered you had some assets in the business that were like, wow, why are we not using these?
Right, right. I mean, it was
and that's
funny.
where utilityevents.com came from.
I was going to say I
like,
had purchased with a previous business partner. I had purchased a bunch of URLs. One of them was utilityevents.com, and Gus was like, "Why are you not using this? Like, this is so much easier to remember and so much easier to type in than conferencesconnect.com." And he's absolutely right. So, he really. He was able to see on a bigger picture, because you know how it is when you're working on stuff on your own. You get tunnel vision, and having somebody who has your best interest at heart. Obviously, he wanted me to be successful with what I was doing, to be able to come in and then say, okay, here's what's magical about Gus. Here's what's magical about what I do. Let's make it even better.
I keep the ice cold.
He keeps the ice cold. He talks about this. He's the logistics guy. Do you need a sip of water while I talk about stuff? So we thought we would talk a little bit about, like, I guess in some ways to say, here's what we did, and maybe even if we had it to do over, here's what we would do differently.
Well, here's interesting. We've started a couple businesses. We've started a couple new businesses together. So it's sort of, but we had the framework of us working together as a couple and a team that already played out.
Exactly.
So,
I mean, and I mentioned this earlier today, that we have, both of us have previous spouses and did work. You worked more with your spouse than I did. I would have killed mine. Or it just wouldn't have worked. Anyway, I don't want to go into that. Just like it, we happen to have in our relationship a certain alignment that
your relationship, I will say this, starting flat out, your relationship has to be rock solid. There can be no like arguing about the kids or the trash or the dogs or there's got to be defined. We had Erin and Serene on here last week, and you can tell there's such an alignment. And it's funny, one of the questions I asked them was, what annoys you about each other? And this stuff, it was so minor,
right?
That it wasn't. It almost a joke.
It's almost, that's it. It's like
it's so minor what their issues were with each other. That it was a joke.
Yeah, it was.
Well, that's kind compared to most relationships.
Totally. But I mean, the foundation of that is really, like, if you're really like, hey, honey, we're an awesome couple together. Let's go into business together. Like, we both have an interest in this. Let's consider this. Before you launch, have some honest conversations, really honest conversations. You have to know exactly what you're going into, eyes wide open. What is the purpose? what is the mission? How are we doing this? Who's handling what? Go ahead.
And that being said,
Yeah.
it's going to change.
Yeah.
It's not going to go to plan.
Yeah.
I
a weird shadow on me.
Yeah. You know what?
Okay. Yeah. Oh.
Let me turn it off.
Yeah.
There we
Okay.
go. Does that look better?
That looks better. Now
we had the extra studio lights on. So
light.
anyway,
I hope this is better
you
for
have to be
you.
super flexible. You have to be ready to turn on a dime in your business. But what you just said, staying core to your mission and your values.
Yeah.
Unless that mission changes. And
right.
That mission can change with market conditions
But you need to be on the same page on all of this as a couple and as
before
partners,
you even start.
Right. And as partners in the business before you even get started. So you really need to know, like, the reason why I'm doing this business is because I love this and I want to do this and this is the impact I want to make in the world. Gus doesn't have to have the same mission and
to support
reasons. He has to know and support why I'm in this, and I need to know and support why he's in this. So they don't have to be identical, but we have to be clear on why we're doing this for each other and as a couple.
I'll give you an indicator. Say you're a couple and you're both working in the corporate world today. You're making corporate salaries. Let's say you're making $135,000 each, or one's within $10,000, $15,000 of the other. If your spouse comes to you, whether you're a husband or wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, says, I really dislike my job. I want to quit my job and find this other job or start our own business. If your spouse doesn't say, or you say to your spouse, that's great, let's figure out how to do this. That's a real indicator. That would be a
if they don't say that.
If they don't say that, if they're not on the same page as you, because they can say, I mean, you and I had a conversation about this not too long ago. That I'm pursuing possibly a different business for us, not for us together, but to start a different business. And you're like, you have to go do it.
I was just like, please, you have
to do this because it's what you want to do. You can't stop. And then on the other side of the coin is, there's things in this business that I have to do. And I'm going to do no matter what.
Right.
And it's to support this business that's our current big business here.
Right.
So, and you're supportive of that, but you can do one and the other. But anyway.
Absolutely. No, but I mean, I think part of this is about understanding your skill sets. Like, there are a lot of things that Gus and I are both really good at. But this is where you have to divide and conquer, right? Like, we can't just do the same things. He needs to do something for the business that's different from what I'm doing for the business. So what he just said, like, he's working on things that I can't do. And there are some things that I'm really good at, and I need to do, and so that
I'd be in trouble if Ashley didn't show up for an event. I'd be in trouble with this with the agenda.
Remember when that almost happened?
Yeah, it almost happened. Actually got hurt before.
I went for a run and I basically like gashed open my knee.
She needed stitches and she wasn't getting them.
I did the fall on. It was bad. Anyway.
So let's go. So before the launch,
I'm stealing some. Yeah.
Honest conversation. That's pretty much what we were just talking about.
You just need to be super clear about it. So one of the things that I would recommend to do is talk to another couple who's already running their business together and they're happy as a couple and they're running a successful business.
That comes up later.
Whoops, sorry. See, I'm skipping.
So anyway,
that would be the first thing I would tell somebody to
talk
do.
to us. Hey, talk to I'm the first guy. You want to jump off?
Reach out.
You want to jump off the cliff? I'll hold your hand.
I'll jump too.
I'll jump too. Let's go.
I mean, there are definitely things to consider in this, and not everybody's cut out for it. And it's not about being good or
so. This next thing underneath before launch,
go ahead.
Complementary skills.
Yeah.
So here's where I'll give you two examples of things you wouldn't want to do.
Okay.
You're both really good chefs. Maybe you're both working in a restaurant and you want to open a restaurant together. That's probably not a good match. You would either need someone who can run the restaurant,
right,
both front and back of the house, or someone who's a good front of the house person and someone who's a good back of the house person, or someone who can run the whole show, and the other one is a phenomenal marketer.
Exactly.
And marketer and social media maven, something like that.
Absolutely.
The other thing I would say, and we see this in our industry, you're both consultants and you have clients. So now you're going to start a consultant agency, a consultant firm. You're going to start. You're both going to be consultants independently, or start a company with the two of you.
Right.
Somebody has to build the business. You both can't be consultants.
Right.
I've never seen it work. 10 years, I've never seen it work.
The key on that is somebody has to do business development. Somebody has to continuously drop the seeds into the soil and go back, water them and nurture them and make sure they grow. Because then, and it's probably the number one thing I hear from friends who say, I would love to leave my corporate job, or I would love to leave my consulting job and hang out in my own shingle. And that's the one thing that always they say, ugh.
You only need one thing.
I don't want to have to. I don't want to have to do that, and I'm just always thinking, man, that to me would be the easy part. But
you only need one thing to be a successful business:
customers,
paying customers.
I
mean, look at the history of any company. Look at Apple, probably one of the most successful companies on the planet. They started off making computers. Am I right?
I guess. I would assume
they went through.
I bought one really early on.
They tied in a customer base tight. Then they launched the iPhone, which is such fan for. Actually, they had the iPod first. I
was gonna say I had a bevy of Apple products.
Right, but the product becomes extinct.
Right,
and the customer's still there.
Dinosaurs.
The customer is still there.
Well, yeah, and they were so easy to use, and they were so cute, and they were so well designed.
IBM started off making machines
So somebody says, "Well, why do I have an iPhone? Because I love it. It's easy to use." And yeah, I've been a fan of Apple for a long time. I can't set this down. I'm going to jiggle the camera. So, but yes, business plan and strategy. So make sure you create a solid business plan that really outlines your idea, your target market, your financial projections, and your marketing strategy. And you can't, I'm just going to be honest here, you can't go by referrals alone, usually, depending on the business. But
what do you mean by that?
You need somebody out there farming that. You need one of you needs to, or you need to hire out somebody who can help you build your business and do the business development, get the clients in. You need somebody to get the clients in. So it's either going to be you or your partner, or hire somebody to help you get fresh business in the door. So,
and understand your business plan is going to change. I've had business plans that I've written out. I've had professional business plans written out.
They look so good on paper.
And 6 months in, oh man, what was I thinking?
Yeah.
That's now.
Or, everything changes, right? We had a very, not a terribly different business model before COVID, but we were rolling along with a certain level of success, a certain level of expectation, and a certain amount of business. And then when COVID happened, it kind of upended a lot.
We also had a business plan for a new business, and we spent a lot of money on this plan, and we failed. 100% we failed.
Yeah.
And what we failed to realize, or we thought we were good enough, let's put it this way, we thought we were good.
We were such arrogant little.
And this was not that long ago.
Yeah.
We thought we could develop an audience and a new product and a new audience very quickly and run our same model on the backside of that audience. What we learned, you don't do business with anyone who doesn't know you, or no one does business with you unless they know you.
Yeah.
And that's a really key thing.
It is. So that's another piece to consider as you move forward in this. And that's kind of what I meant by the whole business development piece, is that you need to constantly be aware of and be in conversation with and put yourselves in networking, situations where you're constantly meeting new people and getting to know them. Because if they don't know you, they won't flow you. Thank you, Grant Cardone.
So the next thing is you need to determine roles and responsibility. Who's going to do what in the business? I think by default, we didn't have that well defined, but I had skill sets you didn't have, and you obviously have skill sets that I don't have. It's really fun when we run our events. Ashley, you're in the business. You're running the event. You're in the event, and you're running this. You're handling the speakers. You're an integral part of the event itself. I'm sort of the guy in the background making sure everything's running, making sure Ashley's doing her job right. And I don't mean that making sure, but hey, Ash, we need your attention over here for a split second.
Okay.
On this decision, I'm making sure the AV's working, I'm making sure the catering's working, I'm making sure.
So Gus has he has a broader picture of the whole picture when we walk into running an event on site. And I'm usually very focused on a couple of key pieces.
We did a really cool, one of the coolest table introductions I've ever been, but by far the coolest thing.
Okay.
We were in Germany.
It was a year ago.
I
remember this.
And we were at a table, and not everybody at the table spoke English as their first language.
Right.
And it was introduce yourself and tell the world your superpower.
Or tell the table.
Tell the table. So I realized my superpower was, and it was all event planners, my superpower was when it came to events, I can foresee the future. I can see
the crystal ball.
I can see where
it's gonna go wrong.
one person is not doing their job, and 12 minutes from now, all hell's gonna break loose.
Like that guy from Men in Black.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could see the future and
literally, I could see like
about that earlier.
There's not enough bartenders. This is going to get ugly real fast.
You see us run to a bartender. It's because we know
that's when I'll grab. That's when I'll go grab
for an hour,
and that's when I'll grab the captain or whoever's doing the serving, and like we need 25 glasses of champagne poured right now. We need beer and wine poured, and I need them butler people coming in the front door.
Yeah.
We're going to take care of your front bar there.
Well, that's it. And so Gus's experience is managing and running live events, live social events that were usually just a few hours long, totally helped me out because my 2-day conferences needed a little, they needed a boost. They needed a refresh. Like the actual connecting over the topic in the conference itself, I had that down. But when it came to having a networking happy hour, I was falling short. And Gus came in and was like, why don't we just do this at the hotel bar? Or why don't we go down the street, take everybody down the street. We'll just hand them a credit card. It was it ended up costing us a third of the amount of money I was spending. We were having a way better time. We had way better service and it was just more fun.
All right.
So
next thing.
Yes.
Open and honest communication. Building your business. Communication's everything.
Sometimes there's stuff I just don't want to talk about. There are times where there are facts that are embarrassing to me that I've either fallen short on something, but I know that if I don't communicate it and say, hey, this is where we are, I'm putting us both in jeopardy, and that's not fair. That's not respectful to Gus. It's not respectful to me, and it's not respectful to the business and the relationship.
It always works out.
It does. It
always works out. No, he's good, but
whatever you're in is
those tough conversations. There's only one. What did Brandon Dahl say? There's only one emotion allowed in business,
and that's celebration.
Celebration.
So we don't get. I know. I don't start crying. Sometimes I cry, but we don't start yelling at each other. We're not. We're not blaming each other. We're not putting each other down. We're not, you should have done this and you should have done that and this is all your fault. Really doesn't happen with us because we both know what needs to be done. So just shut up and do it.
Well, I will say this. One of the things that we do occasionally have disagreements. Very, very rarely. But it's usually because one of us is not staying true to the mission or our values. We've
either gotten distracted.
We're doing something in the business that but is not going to get us to where we want to be.
And it's not done out of malice. It's done out of either distraction or
shiny,
you know what I mean? Shiny object syndrome.
Yeah.
Well, it's that whole thing where it takes. What did
you
we
came
learn?
to me yesterday.
You
came to me yesterday,
what?
And you wanted to do something on social media.
I did.
And we've got such a bigger task at hand right now.
Yeah,
I'm like, you have no.
I was like, I'm not going to do it. I was asking you to do it because I was like, I know you do. Oh, all right.
Yeah, so I'm like,
fine. So
we had so much bigger.
And I believe I prefaced it with, if you have time.
Okay.
Da-da-da-da.
Yeah, I was like,
anyway,
we shouldn't even have this conversation.
Are you out of your mind? I'm like, okay, fine, great. See, that's it. But we were able to have that conversation without somebody,
And
crying and
there.
saying, "Why are you saying that to me? That's mean." Respect and boundaries.
Respect's the number one word.
Respect is really. We're going to go Aretha Franklin on you. It's all about respect. Maintain respect for each other's ideas and boundaries. Schedule dedicated work time and personal time as a couple. This is the cutest part. Gus and I spend almost 24 hours together every day. Almost.
Yeah.
I mean, I like to go for a run by myself because I have my music on, and I think it's just healthy to have a couple of minutes.
Yeah, I rarely. I get out and go for a hike every once in a while, ride my bike or something like that. But other than that, we're together.
We'll have a hard day at
We
work
out,
and then
we're
we'll
still
go.
Working now.
Hey, let's go to the store. Okay, it's like a date. So, do you want to go to Walmart? Oh yeah.
Oh, you know, it's funny.
So
we go to the store. We're sort of unwinding. But remember the day we were going to do the Dirty Dancing lift?
Oh my God.
Dirty Dancing music was playing in the supermarket.
They were playing I Had the Time of My Life at Wegmans. So I'm standing in front of, because I dance. I'm Baloo the Bear. There's music on and I start dancing. It doesn't matter which grocery store.
And I get down and go like, come on.
And there's a woman in the freezer aisle who just bursts out laughing. And I think, it was just a tiring day, but we were just so happy that we gave somebody a big smile. So there you go.
The biggest thing.
Yeah.
We should show this too.
Is there another big thing? So respect is big. Financial planning, is that where you?
Yeah, do financial planning, and I'm gonna do the
conflict resolution.
Can we see this? Oh, we can. Yeah.
That's a really good circle. Where'd you learn to do that?
Heather Block.
I know. Heather Block. You make our circles nice.
If you already knew. We'll go back. You need to get mentors. You need to get training. You need to study the things that you don't know. In the world of life, this is a 360
life
degrees.
Lesson.
1% of what you know. There's 1%. You know what you know. That's 1%. 5% of the knowledge that's available in this world, you don't know.
I don't know how to do brain surgery. I don't know how to fix a car.
Even the doctor doesn't know how to do the nurse's job.
Right.
Even all this stuff.
So this is what I know, and then this is what I know I don't know.
All this other stuff
is what I don't know.
94% of all knowledge out there, you don't know, or you don't even know don't know what you know.
Let that sink in.
Let that sink in. So but once you remove that veil and you learn to look through that lens, life becomes even more complicated because now you want to.
Now you're like,
I want a jet. I wanted a jet since I was 21 years old, so a few years now. I don't know how to get a jet. I need to have about $5 to $8 million available to me to put a jet under my butt. I don't know how to come up with an extra $5 to $8 million right now.
But we're still working on figuring out how. So yeah.
But I know that still falls into this 5% here.
Okay.
I know what I don't know.
What he does. Yeah. Well, there you go.
What I don't know is there's probably some secret out there, like I need a jet, just do this, and this, and you're going to have it. If you have the answer, please call me.
Yeah.
I'll give you some of my advice on business. We can talk back and forth. Because between Ashley and I went to high school in the 80s, so you can do the math. We have decades of business experience behind us.
We do.
I've owned a number of businesses in a number of different sectors. I've sold businesses. I've had success. I've had failures. So if you need help starting a business, you want advice starting a business, it's easier than ever to start a business today.
Absolutely.
But there's a lot more competition out there.
Definitely. And there's also, I think the biggest thing now that's different from then in terms of running the business is the marketing. It's getting attention. It's overcoming obscurity. It's making sure people know who you are, what you do. And in some ways, you just get Facebook ads.
Here's the difference. I will say this.
You need to understand,
marketing back in the day, in the 90s, you had to pay for your marketing. Today you
But it
can
wasn't
do,
as expensive.
well, it was.
Depending.
I know it was. Well, the stuff I was doing.
Most of mine was email marketing, and then as soon as
Email marketing didn't start until 2000s. So
True.
I was there. So in the 90s, yeah. I mean, even handing out flyers, you had to get the flyers printed and paid for and stuff like that.
Right.
Ads in newspapers, things like that. So marketing is nothing legally. I mean, back in the day, you couldn't just start a business without having all your legal stuff in order.
Right.
Today, you can start a new business
as a side hustle.
As a side hustle.
If it grows, then you can manage the paper.
Nobody's going to squat. Nobody's going to come after you for doing that.
I would think.
No, as long as you get
we're not attorneys. Please don't take anything.
But as long as you take your 1099s from your people and you file your right paperwork and stuff like that on the income you have coming in.
Sure.
Your Social Security number in the United States, your Social Security number is good enough to have a business. Anyway.
Absolutely. So, I mean, I'm just thinking about like, man, what do I wish I had known? But to be honest, I think the fact that we have such a respectful relationship helps so much. And I'm not uncomfortable saying, I don't know how to do that. Show me how to do that. Or I need to go learn how to do that. Some of the alone time that we choose, Gus does a lot of listening to books from his mentors. I try to make time to read articles that can help me for the business, articles that can help me for the industry that we serve.
Watch training videos.
We watch training videos every day together. But it's that constant, we both have a very voracious appetite for learning what we don't know, and just opening our minds up to what's available and possible. And I think that helps us as business partners as much as it does as a couple.
And we'll tell you this, anyone who's more successful than you will be willing to help you. We've learned that the people who are
that's it. I mean,
no one criticizes down.
Right. So people who are doing well, people who have reached a certain level of success, especially as a couple. Part of what Gus and I do, I mean, it's not magic that it happens to be that we get along really well and we can be in a business together. We have now surrounded ourselves with other people who both, are couples, are couples and great couples with each other and have successful businesses.
You're going to need new friends.
Yes. And
you might have to limit family time.
Right.
But
make that time precious.
We work. We work a lot of bell to bell days. When I say bell to bell, we work a lot of 12. I mean, here
7 to 7.
It's 7 o'clock at night, and we're still talking here. This is part of helps our business grow by doing things like this. We work a lot of 12-hour days. When I had a car business at one time. I had a shop. It was a pretty large shop. For the first 8 months of building it until 2 years of opening it, I worked every day of the year except for Christmas one year. One year I wasn't going to work on Thanksgiving, and there was a problem with one of the family members' cars that I took over the shop and worked on Thanksgiving morning on the car. So but the next year I took off Thanksgiving and I took off Christmas the following year. But I didn't go to family weddings. I didn't go
That's part of the sacrifice.
Funerals. I didn't go to... and I'm not saying you have to do what I did or be like that, but I knew I wanted success. I wanted the business to be successful. I did what it took to make it. I was married to someone else at the time. I actually had a bed in the shop, and there were nights that I slept on that couch in the shop because that's what it took.
I mean, in any relationship, you want to make sure that your partner is on board with what you're doing. And if you're doing it together, great. And if you're not doing it together, then you can do other things and still be a phenomenal couple together and still have that level of respect and support for each other, because that, in the end, you're building an empire, right? and you're either building it or you're destroying it.
I didn't even know you were going to mention. I actually have that book in the links below.
Oh, great!
If you want to buy that.
So it's called Building.
I happen to have it here. I was reading.
Oh well, go pick it up. It's Elena Cardone.
I was reading an excerpt out of this the other day to someone else.
Build an Empire: How to Have It All, and it really goes into. I mean, there's actual exercises that you can do with your partner on, like, okay, I'm going to put this list together of what's important to me. Gus is going to put his list together of what's important to him, and then we're going to just create a list of what's important to both of us as a couple, so that we know that when I'm working on this, he's not, oh, why is she working on that? Or, you know.
I'll add this.
Yeah.
So if you if you want our advice or something, or you want to run something by us, you have a business idea, you have a thought, either put it in the chat down below or hit us directly on DM, and we're more than willing. I am one of my things that I want out of life is I want other people to be successful. I want to get the most out of everybody. I truly think everyone in this world has a skill or something to give to this world.
Absolutely. And if there's something we can do to help bring that out for you, and if you're curious about more questions about becoming a couplepreneur with your partner, we are more than happy to talk with you one-on-one about that.
It'll be harder than you think, but the rewards are greater than you imagine.
Yes, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
We have anything else imparting? I don't know. Anything else imparting here?
No. I mean, I just think, we can talk about work-life balance, but frankly, there isn't one. I think that's a fallacy. I wouldn't say that. It's not a balance. It's really about paying attention to what's important to you and making sure that you're making appropriate time for what's important to you.
So let me give you a key to one of the reasons I was self-employed and I ran at the pace I ran for about 15 years was for my kids.
Yeah.
If I was home, if I was in town, and even after I had separated from their mother and they were an hour away, I went to every track meet, every game, every performance. It was very important to me as a father to be there.
Absolutely.
And
totally.
It meant taking 3 hours out of the business. But the reason I had the business was so I could take 3 hours out of the business to do something like that.
Exactly.
Now, since my kids have graduated and out of school, out of college and everything, now I'm pushing hard. And now the business growth and exiting the business is much more of a goal for me.
And then Gus understands that as my son is in his senior year of high school, there are some milestone things that I want to be here for, and it's more important for me to be able to attend to those now. With the last opportunity I'll have to do it, we can go to those other trips
like 6 weeks of school
next year. I know it's like crazy, but I mean, literally, we canceled a trip. We decided to cancel a trip late last week because we were just like, you know what? There's just too much going on with all of this, and it's killing us both. It's a really killer trip, and we're not going on it because it's important for us to be there, for me to be there.
I've been paid for by someone else
to do that. Okay, just dig at it even more. So anyway, hey, thank you so much for joining us. I hope that
we want to hear from you.
I hope that what we were able to offer you today was helpful and at least a little entertaining. But I hope it shows that we love what we do. And peace out.
Yeah.
Cheers.